And thank you all for joining. You triggered me, George, with building a dike because, yeah, indeed, obviously we're below sea level here, and so we need dikes and dunes. But I usually find myself talking about not to build dikes because I'm advocating for an open, free, safe and secure interoperable internet. And then, of course, you don't want to have dikes around countries. We want to keep the internet open and interoperable, but that means also that people need to feel safe and secure, and that's what this is all about. First of all, thank you, George, our host and organizer, for organizing this event, and I'm already very impressed by the program that you sketched. My name is Nathalie Jaarsma. I'm the ambassador at large for security and security affairs and cyber. So I'm affiliated to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the Netherlands. And it gives me really great pleasure to do these opening remarks for the third iteration, I understand, of this Global Anti-Scam Summit. As this is a very topical issue that does in fact require more international collaboration. And the Netherlands is among those countries that have recognized the necessity of international collaboration to keep the cyberspace free, open, stable and secure, interoperable, as I started off with. And I dare to say that all countries represented here today have the same starting point. So I'm not going to preach for the converted about this. At the same time, looking at the impact of cyberspace on our economies and societies, I can say that the economic potential of cyberspace is enormous. And the COVID-19 pandemic, pushing many students, employees, and citizens online has only reinforced this development. The Netherlands ranks among the top 3 most digitized economies in the EU. The open nature of our economy and strong internet infrastructure have been conducive to innovation and research. The government and Dutch companies are making additional investments in, among other things, the digitization of the manufacturing industry, in research and the application of technologies such as AI, chips and cloud applications. And yet this optimistic picture is not a given. Every minute of the day, someone somewhere in the world is confronted with a phishing link, a computer virus, a data leak, or indeed a fake advertisement trying to lure you into an online scam. Tackling these threats and mitigating those risks requires urgent and coordinated international action. Action between states and perhaps even more importantly, between other stakeholders. At every stage of an online scam, multiple organizations are involved. For instance, the fraudster uses social media platforms or retail websites to publish fraudulent advertisements. Or the criminal organization behind scams uses hosting services from a private sector company. But also on the side of those affected by online scams, including individual citizens, and importantly, those legitimate companies whose brands are being used to mislead online customers. I'm giving all those examples to underline the importance of a multi-stakeholder approach that is needed. And my compliments to the organizing team for reflecting this in the agenda and the list of participants of this summit. We all have to make our contribution. While our societies, companies and governments engage in efforts to tackle the growing threat of online scams, there are 2 important elements to take into account. Both of these elements revolve around trust. Trust is key to maintaining an open, free, stable and secure cyberspace. The first element is the technical side of trust. Our citizens, companies and organizations need to trust the security and integrity of the digital solutions they use and develop in their everyday life. They need to know that their personal data are not being used in an inappropriate way, leaked or accumulated in an unlawful manner. And they need to know that the digital system they depend on have integrity and will not be disrupted. If ordinary people do not trust software or hardware, there's little to gain from digital transformation processes. The second element is the human side of trust. Our citizens and companies, but also our governments, need to trust each other to build a flourishing, innovative and equitable digital economy. Now, trust is obviously not a given. The recent steep rise in online scams is likely to lead to a lower level of trust among online users. The fact that some states engage in offensive cyber operations with malicious intentions is not conducive to an environment of trust between state actors. A lack of trust at the human level can be a barrier to effective international collaboration, even against a risk of shared concern such as online scams. In the remainder of my remarks, I would like to give 3 concrete examples to address some of the challenges through, on the one hand, building resilience against online scams, and on the other hand, building our collective criminal justice capabilities to pursue fraudsters. Firstly, building societal resilience. Greater awareness of online risks could prevent many instances of people falling victim to online scams. It is my conviction that even a small rise in societal resilience can lead to a substantial gain in terms of the number of those affected by online scams. Ideally, an awareness-raising campaign could inspire the target audience to spread the word within their own communities. For this to happen, it is key to avoid victimizing or blaming those affected by online scams. In order for people to share their experiences freely and report these incidents to law enforcement, they should not feel ashamed. Secondly, building capacity of all actors involved. Getting an accurate overview of the size and scope of the online scam threat depends on accurate reporting. In turn, accurate reporting of these incidents depends on the capacity of law enforcement, judicial authorities and other support organizations to manage those reports and take action on them. All too often, cybercrime, including online scams, is not on the radar of key decision makers, partially due to lack of reporting. The Netherlands has partnered with organizations such as the Global Forum on Cyber Expertise, which is, by the way, in this building, and the UN Office on Drugs and Crime, to build the capacity of all stakeholders involved in action against cybercrime. For instance, we support UNODC's global program on cybercrime in Southeast Asia and Western Africa to provide trainings on digital evidence, cryptocurrencies, and dark web investigations. In the view of the Netherlands, cyber capacity building encompasses not only the generation of legislation or strategies, but also includes practical skills development, so implementation. Thirdly, building trust and confidence among all actors. As I alluded to earlier, the reality of current geopolitical dynamics with nation states engaging in malicious cyber operations makes it more difficult to collaborate internationally on the basis of trust and confidence. So how do we continue to build this trust in these complicated circumstances? Through transparency, accountability, sharing of experiences and perspectives, as you do today, and by maintaining channels of communication, whether bilaterally or multilaterally. One such multilateral forum is the UN Ad Hoc Committee to elaborate a convention on cybercrime. In 2021, last year, negotiations have started in this ad hoc committee with a view to eventually adopting a globally applicable cybercrime convention. Such a widely accepted convention has the potential to boost international cooperation, build trust, and decrease the number of safe havens for cybercriminals. That is why the Netherlands has taken an active role in the negotiations so far. A significant number of UN member states has been calling for the inclusion of articles on online fraud and forgery in this convention because of the urgency of international action against this growing threat. In January 2023, these issues and others will be on the agenda of the next negotiation sessions in Vienna. For the Netherlands and for the EU, it is of the essence that this new convention is complementary to the existing international instruments, such as the Budapest Convention, including possibly those articles related to online fraud and forgery. Before giving the floor back to George Abraham, let me underline that this summit we participate in today also contributes to building trust through the breaking down of silos and linking disciplines together. I hope it provides a space to look further than our own square meter or square kilometer, for that matter, of knowledge and expertise, and learn from each other. Therefore, I would like to thank the Global Anti-Scam Alliance for taking this initiative, and I wish everyone a very fruitful and insightful 2 days of conference. Thank you very much.